Good day everyone! So today I'm going to discuss about variance and standard deviation for group data. So first things first, introducing myself, I'm Lord Elner S. Sumayang from BStat 1-1. So these are our objectives. So first is you will be able to calculate and interpret variance and standard deviation for group data. So second is you will be able to distinguish the difference between variance and standard deviation. So before we solve for the sample problem, let's talk about first what is the similarity and difference between variance and standard deviation. So first is the similarity. These two terms are utilized to calculate the dataset spread. Both the variance and the standard deviation are numerical measures that determine how far apart the data are from the mean value. So these two terms are used to describe how spread the data is. Second, the difference. The variance is used to determine the measure of dispersion and the uncertainty in the given dataset values, while the standard deviation is the number which gives information about the spread of data values from the mean value. So meaning, variance is a perfect indicator of their individuals spread out in a group, while standard deviation is the perfect indicator of the observations in a dataset. And in my opinion, it's better to use standard deviation rather than variance because the unit of the given data is also the same as the unit of the standard deviation. Unlike the variance, the unit of the variance will be square of the unit of the data. And for me, the unit matters. The unit will matter. So that's all for this similarity and difference between standard deviation and variance. So here is a sample problem. So with the instruction, calculate the variance standard deviation of the given data. So actually, ang given data ra is ang scores and frequency. Walay labot si midpoint, blanco ra na siya tanan dira si fx and padong sa right. So let's start. So the scores are 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, and 21 to 25 with an interval of 5. So first, to solve the midpoint, so x is equals to hv plus lv over 2. So hv means highest value and lv means lowest value. So let's start for the first row, which is the 21 to 25 ng score. So highest value, so 25 plus lowest value 21 divided by 2. So 25 plus 21 is 46 divided by 2, that is 23. So muna ang midpoint sa row 21-25 is 23. So next row is 16 to 20. So same step, 20 plus 16 divided by 2, it's 18. And next, 11 to 15, 15 plus 11 divided by 2 is equal to 13. So next, 6 to 10, 10 plus 6 divided by 2 is 8. And lastly, 1 to 5, 5 plus 1 divided by 2 is equals to 3. So this is our midpoint that will serve as our x value for the data because ang row values is not given in the set. So next is the f times x, or the frequency times the midpoint. So to get that, we will just multiply the frequency and the midpoint of the same row. So 4 times 23 for the row 21-25, 4 times 23 is equals to 92. And next, in the score 16 to 20, so 7 times 18 is equals to 126. So sa third row, 11 to 15, 3 times 13 is equals to 39. And second to the last row, 6 to 10, 5 times 8 is equals to 40. And the last row, which is 1 to 5, 1 times 3 is equals to 3. So that is for our fx, or the frequency times the midpoint. So next, we must calculate first the mean. So to calculate the mean, we have the formula x bar is equals to the summation of fx over the summation of f. The summation of f is just the total frequency, or the n. If it is a sample, then it is letter n. Then if it is a population, it is a big letter n. So x bar, so let's just substitute the following values. So summation of fx is equals to 300 and summation of f is equals to 20. So x bar is equals to 300 divided by 20, which is x bar is equals to 15. So our mean is equals to 15. So next, we can calculate the next column of fx because we have the mean, na natay mean. So makalculate na nato siya. So to calculate x minus mean, so mutan-aw ta sa midpoint and sa mean. So first row, sa score 21 to 25, so ang x niya is 23 minus the mean, which is, ang mean is 15. So 23 minus 15, mo na siyang 8. So the next row, sa score 16 to 20, so ang iyang midpoint or ang iyang x is 18. That's why x minus mean, so 18 minus 15 because ang mean is 15. So 18 minus 15 is equals to 3. So same process sa next row, 11 to 15 nga score. Iyang midpoint is 13 minus mean, so mo nang negative 2, sorry. So sa second to the last row, 6 to 10, ang iyang midpoint is 8 minus the 15 nga mean, so it is negative 7. So sa last row, sa 1 to 5 nga score, the midpoint or x is 3 minus 15 nga mean, so mo nang negative 12. So next column, so imo ra siya i-square ang katong x minus x bar or x minus mean. So i-square nimo siya, so 8 square is equals to 64, 3 square is equals to 9, negative 2 square is equals to 4, negative 7 square is equals to 49, negative 12 square is equal to 144. So sa last column, we have f times x minus x bar squared. Para masolve na siya, tanaw ta sa frequency o sa x minus x bar squared na column. So sa first row, we have 21 to 25 na score. Yung frequency is 4 o yung x minus x bar squared is 64. That's why 4 times 64 is equals to 256. So sa second row is the 16 to 20 nga score. We have the frequency of 7 o yung x minus x bar squared is 9. So 7 times 9 is equals to 63. So sa third row, we have the 11 to 15 nga score. Yung frequency is 3 o yung x minus x bar squared is 4. So we have 3 times 4 muna nakuha ang 12. So sa second to the last nga row, we have 6 to 10 nga score. Yung frequency is 5. Yung x minus x bar square is 49. That's why 5 times 49 is equals to 245. And sa last nga row nga score, which is the 1 to 5, na siya frequency nga 1 and na siya x minus x bar square nga 144. That's why f times x minus x bar square man siya, so 1 times 144. That's why we get 144 for the f times x minus x bar square sa 1 to 5 nga score. And lastly, we need to get the sum of the last column, which is the f times x minus x bar squared. Or should I say, we need to get the summation of f times x minus x bar squared. Kay mao man ni siya ang nasa numerator sa atong variance. So for the first row, we have 256. Second row, we have 63. Third row, we have 12. Fourth row, we have 245. And the last row, we have 144. And the sum of all of that is 720. So, na-complete na to ang table. So, with that, maka-calculate na ta or makasolve na ta sa atong standard deviation o sa ato ang variance. So, here is the variance. And ang formula sa variance is s squared is equals to summation of f times x minus x bar square over n minus 1. So, nigamit ang s squared because it is the sample variance. So, s squared is equals to 720 since ang katong summation of f times x minus x bar squared is equals to 720. And n is equals to 20 because katong summation of f or n, same ra na sila, is equals to 20. So, 720 divided by 20 minus 1, gisubstitute siya. So, 720 divided by 19, so that is 37.89, 47, or approximately 37.89. So that is for our variance. So next, we're going to calculate for the standard deviation. So for standard deviation, we have the formula standard deviation is equal to square root of summation of f times x minus x bar squared over n minus 1. Then if naka-remember pa mo, ang kanang formula nga summation of f times x minus x bar squared over n minus 1 is mo na ang formula sa variance. That's why SD is equal to square root of s squared. Kay kanang s squared, variance mo na siya. Ako na siyang gi-substitute. So SD is equal to s That's why si standard deviation gitawag na siya og S kay siya ang square root sa variance. Because si variance is S squared man. So let's just substitute. Since the variance is 37.89, so S is equals to square root of 37.89. And the square root of 37.89 is positive negative 6.1554 or approximately positive negative 6.16. So S is equals to positive negative 6.16. So S ni siya, timan ijud per mi nga S siya if we are going to get the sample standard deviation, and S squared if we're going to get the sample variance. And then if population variance and population standard deviation, we're going to use sigma squared for variance and sigma for standard deviation. And that's all for variance and standard deviation. So next is the conclusion. So the variance and standard deviation for the group data are calculated by getting the total frequency, x, and the mean. But since we don't know the x, the midpoint is used as our x value. So this is my conclusion. So we must use the midpoint as our x value since the x value is not given in the dataset, or the row values is not given in the dataset. In addition, the higher the standard deviation, the farther the data from each other, and the lower the standard deviation, the closer the data from each other. So if taas si standard deviation, then ang mga data is layo sa usag-usa ang katong mga value, and if mubo si standard deviation, ang mga data is duol ra, ilang range is duol. So for the variance, the higher the variance, the lower the chance that the mean would reflect to the data set, and the lower the variance, the higher the chance that the mean will reflect into the data set. And that's all for my conclusion. So next is the importance of topic in relation to real world phenomena. So some investors use variance to see how much risk an investment carries and whether it will be profitable. So meaning investors use variance to foresee the success of their business. So lain sa kay di nila isurebol nga dapat man jud isurebol na nila nga makaginansya sila ug di sila malugi. So next, standard deviation has wide range of applications in academia, business, and science, including academic studies, which is the coefficient of variation, hypothesis testing, and confidence intervals. So in business, so we can have variability of delivery times, inventory, and etc. And next is for forecast accuracy. So it is for weather. So lastly is for medicine. So it is for effectiveness of drugs in pharmaceutical trials. So syempre ila dyan ang i-sure nga ilang drugs or ilang tambal is effective. So sa pinaka-last, let me give you an example of using standard deviation in real world situation. So you are playing a golf and then you are given 5 trials. So nakay 5 ka trial. So sa kanang 5 ka trial, imo i-measure ang ang distance sa goal post to where the ball ends up. So sa kanang 5, so nakay 5 ka measurement sa distance because you have 5 trials man. And then that distance would be your x, and then calculating the standard deviation, if you will get 0 in calculating the standard deviation, that means that ang imong 5 ka trial nasulod to sila tanan sa goal post. So na-goal to sila tanan. And if ang imong standard deviation is getting higher, then ang katong imong 5 trials is magkaanam sad og kalayo sa iyahang goal post, meaning need pa ka og more practice in that particular sports. So next, so after listening to my discussion, it's your turn to solve for this problem. Good luck and God bless. My references. And that's all for this today. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.